Welcome to Brand Builders TV. Deep dive topics, tools and resources brought to you by global thought leaders from within the Brand Builders Club. This show gives you access to the strategies that you can use to move forward with ease and flow in every area of your life and business. In today's show, Joké is going to help you discover that you are more resilient than you think and give you the steps to find the resilience that you are looking for. Learn it, model it, and get shit done. Let's go.
Hello. This is Joké Hoetmer, and every Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. at London time, GMT, I'm speaking about how to get your resilience into overdrive. And today we are going to talk about that you have more resilience than what you would have known you had. And resilience isn't only for the strong. You are stronger than what you thought. Okay, so let's get cracking. This is something that I'm very, very passionate about, because in the years that I have had, thank you for that heart, that I've had in my life, I have always been very, very resilient. And there's certain things that you need to have to be able to get into that resilience place. Now, I just quickly wanted to show you something. Those that have not seen that I am here, let me see how I can do this, on a boat. Can you see? Right? I'm on a boat, you guys, on a houseboat. Now, part of this resilience that I've had to learn is overnight on Tuesday last week, I had to make a decision to come. There was going to be lockdown, and I moved within a day. Arrived at 9:30 the evening with my little Clio so full, with everything I needed, and I had to think on my feet because I don't know how long this lockdown's going to be. I just landed here. And here I am in this boat. Look at it. It's amazing. It's amazing. I made it so homey. Anyway, so this is a bit about me, but I want to talk about you. Okay, so let's talk about how you have that inner resilience, and that you thought you haven't got it. You have. You know, when life hits you and you've got to make changes, because life does happen. We go through so many changes. I mean, I had to overnight, within a day, realize that I cannot actually stay where I am. And so I had to make a move. And when the same day, I made that move. And yes, so we said, we're 5 boats away from each other. Yep. Which is actually crazy, because for 2 days we don't see each other, but it's always nice to be able to pop in and see each other and just enjoy each other and the dogs and everything. I'm definitely not lonely. And Sammy is now in my bubble, which is the bubble boat and the bubble of being together, which is very, very nice. Yeah, Mark, it's on a boat, 5 boats away from Sammy, and it's a guy that I didn't know who just said to me, you can come and stay here, you can come and hide out. And I've always loved boats, and so what if you listen to my previous one of last week of about bouncing back, you realize that we've got to make decisions, and quickly, and stand on your feet when you make decisions. And we'll talk about that again. And that is exactly what I'm doing. And why I'm talking about the boat thing now is because that's exactly what I did. I just stepped up and did it. Okay? I just did it. And now I'm so happy because, it was the way it should be. Anyway, so here we're going to talk about different types of resilience that you're born with. Now, the thing is, if you think about it, your resilience is initially inside of you. If you watch child, I'm just wondering if I must quickly close that curtain because it's shining on you. You see, this is a thing that happens that you don't expect. Just hang a minute. Sorry about that it's reflecting. The light is reflecting on me. Okay, it's still here. Oh my golly gosh. All right. Is that it? No, not yet. Oh my gosh. None of them. I'm getting them all wrong. Here we are. No, we're getting there. We're getting there. Anyway, now you're seeing the boat. I'm there. Gosh. Okay. Anyway, that's not the worst. I didn't close the curtains properly, but this is the reality. This is real TV, right? Or real. This is Joké real. I mean, this is just how it works. Because 1 minute it's all fine, and then the sun changes, and then all of a sudden you can't, there's such a reflection. But anyway, I'm here. Okay. So here we go. Back to the problem. When you have resilience that you are born with, what you are experiencing is that it's emotional resilience that you've got naturally. You are born with that. Can you think about children when they start learning how to walk and to get up again? And I'm just watching my granddaughter that every time she cries or she falls, she comes to her mom and she just gets that assurance from her mom, and then she gets back again. So that is something that we have initially got inside of us, to just get up again and do it and keep on trying, right? So if this happens, that you are develop this as a child, that inherit naturally, that you see, the second one is inherit, the natural born with resilience that a child has to experience things, to never be afraid of everything. I was watching this of Richard Branson, of how his grandmother, at the age of 6, she told him to swim. And she made him swim. She took away the tube and whatever he had to help him, and she told him to go and swim in that river. And he did. He doggy paddled, but he did. And that set such a resilience inside of him, and self-pride to be able to cope with doing what he's got to do. And that is exactly what we have got. We've got inherited natural resilience. If you watch that, we are naturally survivors. Then the number 3 is your adapted resilience. Now with this you find that you have a bit of a challenge, because people have different ways of responding to stress or things that are happening in your life. You have different ways of responding to that, but that's okay, because we're going to work through this series. We're going to work through how you can learn to build up that muscle, which I did last week, how to bounce back muscle. You're going to discover it. And now today we're going to recognize that really it's inborn in you to have resilience, and that is going to be okay. You can manage to do whatever you have to do because it's there. Okay, now just think about it. I would love to sing, but I can't sing. But you know what? If I'm in the shower and nobody's listening, I can sing. What does that say? The thing is that it is there, but we are through life, through somebody saying to you, oh, you haven't got a nice voice, or somebody saying, you sound like a crow, or whatever it is, you have stopped what is naturally inside of you. Because when I was singing in the shower, my sister thought it was a radio. And she is actually, in her young days, she was an opera singer. And I thought, what? So what I'm actually saying by that, it's there. You've just got to find it, okay? And this journey that I'm going to have with you is to get you to find your resilience, to find how we are going to get there, even though you feel that you haven't got it. And some people, I used to have a brother-in-law that said to me, Joké, I wish I had your fight and your will to live. I said, you have. You just need to exercise it. He died at a very young age because he just didn't find it. So that is the other side of it. If you don't fight back and your will to live or to do and to get up again after life hits you in whatever way it is, be it losing your job, getting divorced, or be losing financial security, or just being depressed, or finding that your marriage isn't what it should be, or whatever it is. Just get up. Life has a side on the other side. Life has a silver lining. You've just got to get up. I mean, this has been my life. I have had such a lot of adventure in my life, but every time I've got up. So here I'm going to help you with this. Okay. Then the other thing is, when we have adapted resilience. Okay, so some people, like I know I've got a son-in-law that is always even keel. He is just, it doesn't matter what happens. The other day, there was such a storm and it was raining in this house. They've got a house on the beach and it was just, all the windows were shaking and he had to replace these windows, and it's a massive house. And he just did it. He just did it. My daughter, on the other hand, found it very difficult because every room in the house was upside down. And it was hard, but she had to find her way around that and find her happy place and adapt to that. So there's ways of doing that, okay? And the other one is learned resilience, is experiencing. People like my son-in-law has always kept a cool head. You know how some people are like that? When the pawpaw hits the fan, they just know what to do and they're just totally calm. I have learned to do that. I have learned to not overreact. I have learned that when I am in that situation that I don't know what to do, I've learned what to do. And I want to just use this little story. This is my story, okay? What I do is I sit like a person in a desert, okay? Just see this guy walking in the desert with all these rags around him, right? And now the storm is there and he can't breathe because all the sand is coming up in his nose and his eyes. And now in South Africa, the beaches, I mean, when there's a wind storm, you can't see because it is so in your face. I mean, it's the most horrible feeling. You know, it's something like we get here in the UK when it gets all those little mites coming all over your nose and your eyes and everything, and you can't handle it, or like it is in Scotland. That's what it's like. And you cannot actually see or breathe. So when you're in this storm, now this storm is your life storm. What you do is you don't carry on walking. You sit still. And what I see this person in the desert doing, he covers his head and everything, puts a camel down and he covers his head and everything, and he sits quietly until the storm passes. Now, while you sit quietly, is what I spoke about, the bounce back muscle. You can listen to that one. What you need to do is control your mind and your thoughts and everything. And what I do is meditate. I go into who I am. What am I here for? Go into my quiet place. I even just think that I'm on the beach, even though I'm in the middle of the desert. Whatever it takes, calm down in that storm. Don't overreact. Don't make decisions in that storm. Because when you do, you're going to make the wrong decisions. Because now, this Arab gets up from the storm and it's clear. And he recognizes, and you can see in the distance, the oasis. And if he had walked straight like he thought he was, he would have missed, just by a slight, that oasis. And he would have walked miles and miles and miles further. Even maybe died of thirst if he didn't wait for the storm to pass. Now, when I say that, it means that you've got to wait and get all those emotions and all that fear and all that, all those things that are in you. Just stop it. Just stop. Don't do anything. And you know, I've often said to my children, when I'm quiet, because I'm not really a quiet person, but when I'm quiet, that's when I'm in a storm and I'm listening. And I've had a lot of storms. Sometimes little storms, sometimes big storms, but I never make a decision in a storm. Okay, so then that is now the learned resilience that I've had. And this is something that you grow and develop as you go along. And it's a good thing, because that's the muscle I was talking about. It's a good thing because next time you have that storm, I mean, next time your husband does what he does that upsets you, you realize that don't overreact, because that's not going to happen. Or if your child uses drugs again, and you realize that by talking to him and shouting at him or taking away or checking up his drugs is not going to help. What you do is you sit still in that storm until you get the answer, until you get clarity. Okay, so how do we get clarity? Okay, so what we need to practice is know who you are. Okay, so in that storm, I can say, okay, I'm a camel or I'm the Arab. The camel just does what he does naturally. The Arab will think things out. So now, actually, you've got to be both. You've got to do what you do naturally, survive. You have a natural survival instinct. Don't lose it. Don't let depression, don't let any situation take that natural survival. Okay? We're going to talk about next week about how to fight back when you've got depression. Okay? Because that's normal. I've even been depressed. I mean, it's not natural for me to be depressed. But boy, oh boy, I've been in situations that I've just felt so stuck. I felt stuck that I got depressed. But we're going to talk about that if you want to follow this next Friday at 4 o'clock. But over here now, what we are doing now is, the next strategy is practice to know who you are. In other words, never quit. And put in your boundaries. In other words, by knowing who you are, don't be afraid to say it as it is to somebody. Tell them the truth. These are the facts. And say it. Be assertive in that. Okay? Be assertive. Set your boundaries. No more. I am not going to go through this again. And I'm learning the lesson. And I'm growing through this. That is your boundary. Your boundary is that you are good enough to get up here again. And no failure is going to define you. No failure is going to define you. You define you. Remember, who am I? I can do this. Find that focus. Find that focus that makes you live. Find that boundary if you've lost them. Say, okay, I recognize my failure here. I recognize my part in this, or I recognize my reaction in this. I'm accountable in that. Take that accountability and decide. Decide not to take it any further. Okay, so you've taken your boundaries. You've accepted who you are. You put down your boundaries. And you've made it clear. Okay, now you start working towards getting healing back. Get your healthy habits back. Because somewhere along the line before this trauma happened, or before this life happened, something was let up. It's like guitar strings, when you don't have all the strings in, when the one is not working well, or I've known with my grandson, when he plays guitar, he says, Oma, I need a new string, and I go, another one, but he can't play without it. If you don't have that divine balance in your life, in other words, emotional stability, spiritual maturity, and physical healthness, you've got to have that. So get your physical body back. Get healthy habits. Stop whatever you were doing that was unhealthy. Make that decision. Remember, it's all about decisions in the will, right? Make that decision. Get your sleep patterns right. You know what I've now? Because I realize I can't fall asleep after 10, right? If I don't go to bed at 10, I can't get up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so I've now put my alarm, and it's strange, even if I'm watching TV or whatever I'm doing, 10 o'clock, I'm in bed. Get those healthy habits, 5, 6 o'clock, whatever your time is, set your alarm up for that and get up at that time and do what you have to do, right? Get your healthy habits back, because what changes in your life make? It's that you lose your balance, you lose whatever you were doing right. Get back to doing what is right. That is what you got to do. You just got to do that. Comment, you guys. Come on, comment on this, okay? Do what you have to do right. Your diet, your sleeping habits, your relaxing, okay? And, some people need to do something to relax. In other words, running. I know of I had an ex-boyfriend who just had to run just to relax. And sometimes when he was edgy, I just said, go and run. My son used to play squash. Go and play squash. I go and walk with the dogs. Or go and walk in the nature. Or go and exercise. Go to the gym. Go make yourself a nice cup of tea and have a piece of cake or whatever. I mean, that's also do everything in moderation, but do everything that you enjoy. Do things that you enjoy to get back, right? You're going to do that. And then the other thing is never, ever stop reaching out. Now, when I say reaching out, okay, that's the fifth point. Your diversity is so important that you reach out to be able to step into whatever is new. And now this is something that very often we get so in a rut. We get into our habits and we do the things the same thing, the same way. I watched an elderly gentleman, he was well in his 80s. Every day, clock on, 4 times a day, he used to walk his dog. The same way, the same time, the same route. Or have you got a partner, or are you like that when you go to a restaurant, you eat the same thing every time? You have the same meal. Change. Be a little bit different. You see, to have resilience, you must embrace it. You must embrace change. Yes, it's okay to have habits, but when it gets to diversity, you need to have diversity. In other words, have different forms of income, have different forms of interest. Don't just watch the same old cowboy movies or just documentaries. Have diversity in what you watch. Spend time with yourself to get yourself into alignment to be the better version of you. Always push those different diversities. Okay, so by doing that, you can have hobbies. And okay, now I'm not a very sociable person when it goes out to socialize. I think in London, it is so easy to socialize, but I find it very difficult to get out and just go and meet up with friends. And I have made that an effort to go and reach out to friends and go and visit and have contact with them. Okay, now you can't do it right now. So that is one of the challenges we've got. So reach out every day. I reach out to 3 new people every day. So if you are on my thoughts, I act on it and I reach out to you. And it's always welcome. So keep your options open, because you don't know what that person has. Now that is something, because people need people. And you don't know what you can actually encourage that person to be out of the bubble or out of their situation or out of their depression or whatever. You give them hope, you give them encouragement. But not only that, they might have something that they say that you need. You guys and girls, really, we've got to do this. We've got to do this. We've got to listen to other people. We've got to reach out to people, because people need people. And you need people. Okay, so the steps is knowing who you are and standing up for who you are. Never react. Never overreact. Quiet and wait till the storm's over. Number 3 is set your boundaries. If you lost those boundaries, set your boundaries. Set your boundaries with the people. Set your boundaries with the new situation, because you've got to reset. You've got to revisit your boundaries every time. Set your boundaries. Number 4 is change your habits. In other words, make it better. Your sleeping habits, your running habits, or your exercise habits, or whatever. Change that. Okay? And then the next thing that you have to do is diversify. Don't keep your head down like an ostrich. I don't know if you realize that an ostrich, it's so weird. Coming from Africa, you see this ostrich with his head in the ground and this big body out there with these big feet. I mean, their feet are about like this. It's about 1.5 feet. It's crazy to see this. And this tiny head of his is underground. I've never figured that one out, but really, don't have your head in the ground like an ostrich, because everybody can see your body. So don't hide. Don't hide. The worst thing to bounce back and to find your resilience and to find that what is inside of you, reach out to others. Because you might encourage somebody else, or you might even be encouraged by somebody else's problems and realize that your own is actually nothing. Do you know what? That has been my secret. I've always, when I'm in my weakest, reached out to people that I know are also battling. And somehow, while I'm reaching out to them, I forget my own issues. I forget what I was doing. I was forgetting my pain. I forget it all, because it's not important, really. Because you know what? When you die, I just want to leave that thought with you. You're not going to take money, your home. You're not going to take your business. You're not going to take anything with you. Your beautiful car. I know my son, oh my God, he was so happy when he got his SLK. He thought that was the end of the world. That is what he wanted. And you know what? When he had it, he thought, it's not important. You can't take it with you. You can only take your life and your experiences that you have paid it forward with other people. Is giving back. Your resilience is giving back to other people that are less fortunate to you. I believe in that. I believe if you want to bounce back by reaching out, that is when you get it. That is what. And I really want to encourage everybody that this is the story of what you have, that inner resilience that you never thought you had. Okay. The other thing is, resilience is not only for the strong. Stop looking around. Just a thought. Stop looking around at other people and saying, oh, she's got it. My brother-in-law said, you've got it so much. You've got it made. My life has been such a roller coaster. And if you follow me in the future and read my book in the future that I'm busy writing now, is I've never had an easy life. Never. I've always had challenges, but I've always embraced them. And I still have the will to live and to love. Okay? I still have the will to be able to find my way back again. Yeah. And I'm 70. So, I mean, if I still feel life is ahead of me, what about you when you're young? When you've got your whole life ahead of you? Why not? So then we go back. If you find what you're looking for, just think of that. If you find something that you like, embrace it and run with it. What I'm saying here is follow your heart. And I'm going to say that every time. Follow your heart. Your heart does not lie. See you next time, next Friday, BBC, BBTV, and my Facebook, and on all the other platforms. We're going to be speaking again about why We need to be resilient so we can move forward. Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you for watching, and please give comments, because then I know exactly what I need to speak about. I've got so much on this resilience thing that I really do want to give more. I want to give what you want, so please let me know what you want. This is a two-way conversation. It's not a monologue. It's a dialogue. So keep on talking to me, and thank you for being here. Bye.
I hope that you've enjoyed the show today as much as we've enjoyed making it for you. If you've got anything out of this episode, please do tell someone else how they can subscribe to the Brand Builders TV channel at youtube.com/brandbuilderstv. Why not join us at our next Brand Builders Thinkubator, a global mastermind that we run every week to take away the loneliness of being in business on your own. For more information and to book your place, visit light.brandbuilders.club/Thinkubator. That's light.brandbuilders.club/Thinkubator. Until next time, be the ripple that you wish to see in the world, and we'll see you soon.